Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Vobes One-Eyed Kenobi Showby with me, Richard Vobes, here live and direct with you on the 12th of May, 2021. It's 8 o'clock here, but it might be a different time wherever you are. Who knows? Check your watch, just in case there's a strange time warp. It's a Wednesday evening. It's been a funny old day here weather-wise. We've had a bit of rain, well, only slight smatterings. We've had cloud, and we've had lovely sunshine. Well, certainly in Worthing, where I am. But, of course, things may be different where you are. You may be on the other side of the world, tuning in at 4 o'clock in the morning, going, oh, no rain here. Or you might be well up north, going, nothing but thunder here. So who knows? Anyway, welcome along. It's just me flying solo in tonight's show. No lovely Julia, no other guests, no great surprises. We do have over here a list of some lovely videos. So let me tell you, we missed out, did we not? We missed out some videos on the Monday show because we just ran out of time. I don't know how we do it. Mark Donny McLeod is going to be doing something with Pastor. Looking forward to that. I think it's pastor, and or maybe he's talking to the pastor at the church. You know, because people do that from time to time. Oh, your pastorship, could you give me some guidance, please, on heavens above?
Yes, I can give you guidance. No worries about that, my lord.
So it could be that. Who knows? Sean is talking with the old trees, jibber jabber, jibber jabber, jibber jabber, which will be interesting. I think he's talking to a silver birch, but I may have got that wrong. Who knows? Bernie is still out in the marsh. We fear that he is lost, and we hope that we can wind him in. Bernie, come back! Where am I? He's probably at Bodgham. Raymond has got a Midi file he wants to explore with us, which is rather jolly. And Justine Jones is in amongst the garlic. Wild garlic. Arr, arr. That kind of wild garlic, which is fantastic. And as well as all of that, ladies and gentlemen, we have you out there ready at your fingertips to type and say a few jolly old words to the Vobes One-Eyed Kenobi, or indeed give us a call on 0793 4746 790. Now, to set ourselves off, let's have a look and see who's out there in the Vobosphere, shall we? Lots of exciting people. So we'll do a quick, as much as we can, roll call to make sure everyone is all paying attention. Now, please don't feel that you have to stand up and salute, although, of course, you can. You'll be very welcome. Straight out the bat is the lovely Julia, who is moderating. Thank you very much, lovely Julia. And I dare say the lovely Judith is out there too. Haven't got down that far to see if she's there. Daniel Watkins is also out there. Kerry Baldwin, Daryl Howard, Jackie H.W. now changed her name to Jackie, so it's much more familiar, which is lovely. And Steve Baker is there. Here, Ward the Woke.
Here, Ward the Woke.
Not woke, as in, you know, woke, as in, anyway. Kerry Baldwin is also there. Brainwashed Chris, nice to see you. Anna Jones, Daniel Watkins, I've already said. Andrew Norris, what ho Vobesters, he says. We have Mother Nature, who is here on time, which is lovely to see you. We always like a nice bit of Mother Nature, making sure that we are all kindred spirits. And Rick M. How do you do, Rick M? Lovely to see you as well. Bonnie H. Colonel Craig Ratty. We have Audrey Forbes Hamilton, which is very nice. Somebody posh watching the show is always good. Alan Sandell in his leotard. Very nice. Prancing, I hope. Prancing around in his leotard. Josephine Suter. Lovely to see you there. She's all bangers, you know. Yes. I nearly went and... got some sausages today, but I thought, no, I've got to wait. I must go over to the Suitors butcher and get my bangers so I can have bangers and mash, which would be lovely. Who else have we got out there? Station Master's Choice, which is great to see. So he is back from the marsh, that's good news. And Dave Evad, nice to see you, wearing his little hat this evening on his emoji. It's always nice to have an emoji. Sean Ford, that's good. He's stopped whispering to the trees and he's now sitting there paying attention. All very peaky, which is lovely. Justine Jones also there, munching on the wild garlic. Jackie Lowe, she says, home in times for the Vobes Show. We'll be eating my tea and cottage pie throughout the proceedings. I'm afraid today I was a bit rushed. And all I managed was baked beans on toast this evening with a bit of cheese. And I did have a little bit of ham left over. I don't know why I'm pointing over there, because there's no fridge with ham or anything like that. But that was the meagre meal. I'm afraid the champagne and caviar has been put on hold yet again. bit of an anticlimax, really, to go down to the old tin of baked beans. Plenty of sugar in the old tin of baked beans, but not to worry. Who else have we got? Lord Jeffrey, of course. Hello, Lord Jeffrey. Lovely to see you. Who says, red jumper, he hasn't worn it for a while. Oh, that's true. I have worn it, but perhaps not on the show. Jeff Sussex, he says, hello from Jeff and Mandy. Hello, Jeff and Mandy. Lovely to see you. Thank you very much for coming in tonight on a Wednesday, which is always good. Kerry Baldwin said, I said teal, but he's lost the sleeves. Ah, yes, I pulled them off. Pulled them right off. Next week, I'm pulling off my arms just to fit, so it doesn't look silly with my arms poking out. Edward Moulding is also with us, which is fantastic. And Station Master's Choice has said something, but it just rolled past it. I do beg your pardon, Station Master's Choice. Who else have we got? Mark Burgess, lovely to see you there. Eastbourne couple, hi to you both. And finally, Jonathan Fox is also out there, and maybe some others, but that's all I've managed to see. Oh, Red Moon, Conjure and Tracy Murphy, Patrick Brooks. Sorry to have missed you and left you to the end. I do apologise for that. I am so very humble and very apologetic, in actual fact. So there we go. Anyway, thank you very much for coming along. Did anyone see the Queen's speech the other day? Did you see? It was lovely to see the Queen. Wasn't it lovely? I mean, bless her cotton socks. She's 95. And there she is, presiding on that amazing throne, giving that speech. I don't suppose she wrote it for a moment. That's probably all written for her, isn't it? These things. Otherwise, she could have said a whole load of things. My husband and I am getting quite old now. And soon I will not be with you. But to my left, it was this side, wasn't it? To my left is good old Charlie, who will be taking over fairly soon. So please, it's very sad, isn't it? She's 95. Do you think she'll make 100? 100? What's the betting? What's the betting she makes 102? That's what I reckon that she'll do, which gives us 7 years of Her Majesty. And we've been so lucky with the Queen. She's been an absolutely marvellous Queen. And poor old Charles, I mean, he's sort of getting greyer and thinner and more lined than ever. Bless his little socks. But there, eventually, he will be there. I am your Royal Highness, Majesty, the king. I mean, he'll be pretty senile. But I mean, no disrespect to him. I'm sure he's a lovely, and he'll be a lovely, and he'll, do some crazy things. But the Queen, I think the advantage the Queen had was starting so young and seeing so much. She was just an absolute joy to have. And we will never have anybody like that. I don't think we will ever have another person. It's certainly not in my lifetime, of course, but I reckon that she will be the longest serving monarch for a long, long time. Who knows, though? Who knows? We may get another one, but I reckon there'll be... Of course, we'll probably end up with, what's her name? Markle will somehow elbow her way in. And I don't want any publicity. But I'm here. Yeah, look at me. I'm a quiet life girl, me. I like a quiet life. Look at me. Look, I'm here. So we may have that, but I doubt it. I don't think it'll ever get to there. Sean Ford says, I had to clear a dead gull from the road at the weekend and all the same time save a female blackbird in our back garden who had a terrible bleeding beak. My goodness, Sean. You don't half have those issues, don't you? So that's a shame. Prefer it if she'd written it, says Brainwash. Yeah, it would have been nice if she'd written her own thing. It could have been all sorts. I would love to see, the Queen write a little book. Her time as a Queen, a little biography would be great. What I really think would be interesting. Alan Sandell says, what if she lasts longer than Charles? Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I wouldn't put it past her. She seems to be somebody who has incredible longevity. And that would be interesting to see what would happen. Bonnie says it died in the mud beside it, set not so road related. That's not the Queen, I'm sure. Her Madge the Queeg, says Michael White. Yes, indeed. Station Master Choice said, I'm going to be trying that when I'm on holiday. You try it, see what happens. And Elaine Johnson, hello Elaine Johnson, lovely to see you. I am testing this out for Ron Langley, as Ron cannot get on here for some reason. Yes, now that's interesting. I'm glad you said that. Ron Langley, who, bless him, has been in a hospital fairly recently with some terrible... well, let's not talk about bowel cancer. Let's not even mention it. But he's been out doing some terrible things. No, he's gone through the mill. He really has. And Ron, we feel for you, but we're so pleased that you've come back, bouncing back. Don't sit down too long, though, whatever you do. You may have to stand and walk about a bit, which is great. But he's had issues since he's come back. I don't know whether it's the new colostomy bag or it's just the sunshine smile that he has, but he's unable to make comments, particularly sarky comments, luckily. No, he's unable to make comments in the chat, which is a bit of a shame. If I had a bow, an arrow, if I had a bow and a violin, that was the thing. No comments from Ron. He did actually email me and say, "Oi, Richard, what am I doing wrong?" And he said, "I've tried setting up another account, and that doesn't work." And I said, "Well, if you set up another account, it can't be. It's nothing to do. We've not blocked him. He is not blocked. Not like Brobat Blue." We mentioned Brobat Blue in Monday's show for some reason. I can't understand it. There's the lovely Judith. Hello, lovely Judith, who is there working, beavering away, making sure, banging all those awful spammers on the head, and the trolls too. She says, unless I was hired on the road, I managed to get back to its settings. I see so many dead badgers. Okay, so she's talking about something. I have no idea what she's on about. Sean James Cameron says Queen biography will be called My Life on the Throne. Yes, and what a flushed lady she would be from all the money that would be coming in. Alan Sandell says it would have been shorter. Oh, right. Jamie Boy, 1995, comes in. Hello to you. And Bonnie says if the Queen wrote a speech, it would be all about horses and corgis, no doubt. Those, because when the Queen was young, she used to play with corgis, those little tiny cars, I think, on those. Do you remember having that strange orange plastic thing that did like Hot Wheels. Was it called Hot Wheels? That seems to have come into my brain. And you'd throw these cars, these little Hot Wheels cars, down this orange bit of plastic track. And it would do the loop, and then go flying out the window off the edge of the cliff if you happen to live at the end of Beachy Head. Not so good, unless your dad had to nip down there every day, 200 feet down to the bottom of that. Dunk, there is a car, there is a dunk, there's another car. Bonk, that's on my head, son. Wait till I get hold of you. Saki comments are Japanese, says Michael White. Hatatoyuata! Which is a very sarky comment, which I can't tell you what it means because you'll all be terribly offended. Jamie Boy says, funny impression, LOL. One does try. If I had money to burn, I'll go like a rocket. If I had money to burn, I'll go like a rocket. Straight down to the buy me a banjo. Anyway, we did that the other day, Tommy Steele and all of that. Half a sixpence, he's better than half a farthing. He's better than half a penny. He's better than none. It depends on the nun, though, doesn't it? Because some of those nuns, that nun from that film that we talked about a few months ago, whatever her name was, Conspiracy of Hearts. Do you remember that film? We showed a clip from it the other day, and I can't remember the actress's name, but she was rather gorgeous, wasn't she? Yes, so there we are. Bonnie H is... Ron is in the house. Ron, have you made it, Ron? Are you in? Are you in there? Fantastic. That's so good. Here, cheers. So here's a line from a film. Can you tell me what film this is? There's a sequence... Now, I know the lovely Julia knows because I happened to said it to her earlier today. But, there's a sequence in which somebody is handing somebody else some money for some repairs to a vehicle. And it's rather a lot of money. He says, your bill is £200. And he says, oh, don't worry, I've got some money for that. And he says, it says, I've been out shooting tigers. Tigers? And he hands him the money, and he's counting the money like this. He said, well, there's a bounty on the tigers. So he says, yes. Must have been a lot of tigers you've been shooting. Oh, yes. Yes, I use a machine gun. So any idea what film that's from? I didn't quite get it completely verbatim, as it were, but I'm sure you all know. Lord Jeffrey says, my Alexa has just ordered egg fried rice when you said, Alexa, good. Mark Burgess says, Richard, how much is a guinea? How much is a guinea? A guinea is what? Is it about, is it 12 shillings? No, wait a minute. It's 12 shillings and something halfpenny, isn't it? It's over £1, if I remember rightly. The Italian Job, says Bonnie H. Correct. That is the correct. I was just watching a bit of The Italian Job on YouTube, but whilst I was waiting for you lot to arrive, because I was here early. And it's like you turn up early, nobody here. You wait and hang about a bit, nobody. Then suddenly, the stragglers, the early birds come in. Oh, hello. Oh, what are you doing here? I'm doing a show. You're doing a show? Yes, I'm doing a show. Oh, that's nice. It is nice. Thank you. £1 and a shilling, says Bonnie H. There we go. 21 shillings. So there we are. Didn't I say that? Something like that. The Italian Job, says Sean James Cameron. 21 shillings. The Railway Children, says Robert Croser, who is wrong. A guinea is £1 and 1 shilling. There you go. Top Gun, says Jamie, but yeah, Top Gun, that's what it was. £1 and 1 shilling, says Linda Kane. £1 and 1 shilling. There it is. Fantastic. There it is. Boom. Where it is. So let's go to a video, shall we, and kick off our little spree on this Wednesday. Brainwash says the Queen is not allowed to vote, and then she announced that her government are going to make sure thousands of others can't either. Well, she didn't exactly say that, did she? She said that they're going to get rid of voting fraud by making everybody have a photo passport. And then I was listening to some radio station that was talking about this, and they said, who in this world has not got a photo identification? And I thought, well, I don't. I don't have current photo identification. I have a passport. I have a passport, but it's out of date. So that doesn't count now, you see. It doesn't count. I have a driving licence, but I have a green driving licence from 1979. Thank you very much. And that doesn't have a photograph on it. And I have had this issue where I've had to go where somebody to fill in some form somewhere, and they've said, oh, yes, you need some photo identification. I said, well, I haven't got any. I've got an old passport. That's no good. No, that might be a forgery. Well, it's not a forgery, is it? Because it's just an old photograph on an old passport. I was 3 at the time, but it does look like me. I've got the same nose. Wait a minute, you've got 2 eyes there, and you've only got 1 now. Yes, that's very true. No, it wasn't that old. It was probably from 19... I think it ran out in about 2001, something like that, you see. Anyway, you can't use it. It's no good. But and I said, well, I can give you that and my driver's license. Ah, yes, driver's license is all right. I said, there it is. I said, that's a piece of paper. I said, I know it's a piece of paper. No, we want the card with the picture on. I haven't got a card with a picture. I've never been told to have to do it. I've never had to change it. I have a bit of it's mostly sellotape now, holding these green fibres together with some printed version of my name on it, but that's me. As you can see, oh, blimey, it's very old, isn't it? Yes, it's pretty old. So I don't actually have any photo identification. So how do you what are you supposed to do? Don't start me off. Jackie gets me every time, says Robert Croser. Jackie who? Is that Jackie? Jackie, what's that? Jackie, the racing driver. Jackie Stewart? Is it Jackie Stewart? Was he a racing driver or was he a footballer? I don't know. Name came. A Florin, says Audrey Forbes Hamilton. A Florin, apropos of. Correct. Everyone gets points, says Bonnie H. Marvellous. I'm so pleased. What else have we got here? Not me, says Jackie. Do a selfie in front of them and show them the picture, says Emily Champion. Well, that's the best answer. He says, here we are. Look, you want photo ID? There it is. That's me. Look, similar. Very similar. And I'm sorry, that won't wash. It will wash if you print it off onto a T-shirt and then put it in the wash, but give it a bit of time. Make sure you've ironed it first. Proper licenses are not valid anymore, says Steve Baker. No idea why that would be. Why would a proper license? Paper licenses, I beg your pardon. Paper, what do you mean paper licenses aren't valid? Unless they actually write to you and say, I'm so sorry, we need a different license, then it's got to be valid, isn't it? They've got to tell you that. I mean, I can't just go on what you're telling me. No one's told me that. And to get a photo license costs £100. Yes, well, I'm not going to do that. Why should I pay to get a photo license? And it's probably the same to get a passport. It's probably the same amount of money these days. Last time I bought a passport, it was about £80 to have a passport done. I bet that's a lot more now. Paper licenses, says Jonathan Fox, is still valid. Yes, there we are. We can have a punch-up. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a punch-up. Yes, there's a fight between Steve Baker and Jonathan Fox. Who's going to win? Ding, ding. Round 1. Which is great fun. Sean James Cameron says, I've stuck in a loop. I can't get a new passport because of my driving licence is out of date. Your driving licence is out of date. And hang on, you're not 80-something, are you? How can your driving licence? Can't get a driving licence because my passport is not valid. But what? How does that? My green passport is still, I think, well, I don't know. I ought to check that, actually. How long did the green... I thought the green passports lasted until you were in your 80s or something. Elfwold says they're still valid if only needed to be a driving card if you move home. What? If only need... to get a driving card if you move home. What if it's a mobile home? Do you need one then? Didn't think of that, did you, eh? One step ahead. We have a phoning call. Unknown caller calling in the old Vobie One-Eye Kenobi Shobi. Let's find out who it is. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show.
Is that the passport office in Swansea?
Ah, the passport office in Swansea. Hello, passport office in Swansea. Can I help you?
Sean James Cameron, and I'm stuck in a loop.
Why? When does your green passport run out?
It's already finished. About 5.
How long are they valid for then? Because I thought they were, as I said earlier, and without having to be like the BBC, full of repeats, I thought they would up until you were 80 odd.
With photo ID, you have to get it renewed.
Oh, what, photo ID, not the green slip then?
No, it's with photo ID. You need to get it updated.
Oh, I see. So every 10 years or something, isn't it?
Yeah, so my passport finished October 2015.
Right.
And I thought, well, I'm not going to go anywhere, so no. I won't bother to spend the however much it is.
What you'll have to do is go down to a solicitor's and get an affidavit done.
So I thought I would... I'm just getting my pass. I'm just getting my driving license out now.
Oh, nice. Thanks for that.
So, yeah. So when you do your new passport, it asks for valid ID.
Right.
And I say, well, I haven't got valid photo ID because my driving license is out of date. And they say, okay, well, get your driving license sorted. So you phone up the driving license and they say, have you got some valid photo ID, such as a passport? And I say, well, that's out of date.
Yeah.
Well, we can't have that.
No.
So there's £200 sat in an online account, which I haven't been able to get access to for 18 months because they increased their security. And now I'm stuck in a loop.
The thing is, with your passport, though, I mean, at one point it was valid, it was in date. Let's put it that way. Let's not use the word valid. At one point it was in date. You have not changed. You've only got older, or the dates have passed, but you're still the same person in the photograph. And at one point in history, for quite some time, for the duration of that passport, 10 years, whatever it is, you were still Sean James Cameron from London.
Yeah.
Why can people not accept, even though it's an out-of-date passport? I mean, all that's happened is the date has moved on from the last date that they say it's... But nothing else has changed, just time has moved. So I don't understand. It's not like you've suddenly got different face, or your ears are bigger, or you know... Why can't... Because that had to be verified at some point.
They keep saying that it's to keep everything secure. Well, it's not helping me out.
No, but I don't understand. I mean, what has changed other than the date has just gone by? That's it.
It's just a date. And in fact, I had a TV job for Channel 5, and there was a possibility that I would have had to leave after a week because I didn't have valid photo ID.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I was born in the country, so I can't see what the issue is. And they literally said, well, we'll accept your passport on this occasion. I said, well, you're making me feel as if I've done something wrong.
Yeah. Well, if they're going to accept your passport on this occasion, then they might as well accept it on any occasion.
Yes, because as far as I'm aware, if you're out abroad and your passport is 5 months out of the valid date, but it's run out, you're still allowed to use it.
Yeah.
Because they accept you're the same person. It's just the
you haven't
changed.
suddenly, as the date changes, your DNA hasn't suddenly, and I've morphed into Brian Seacombe.
Yeah. So I'm now
Seacombe.
having to go through the process of updating my passport and I'm updating the driving license at the same time. But I had to go and get a postal order, and I haven't had a postal order for 25 years.
Golly, I didn't know they still did postal orders. Mark Donny McLeod says, if you get arrested and they ask for your ID, say, sorry, I don't have any. None has any photos. So what name will you be arresting me under?
Well, I don't think I'll go out and try that.
No, I wouldn't try it, no. A passport might have been rescinded. I don't know what rescinded means, presumably returned.
Oh, that's a bit too much of a pot word for a Wednesday.
Yes, I don't know. It's far too... What do you mean? Speak in plain English, woman. Michael White says, the worst thing is that coppers with paper warrant cards, the photo on them was like them when they were 12. Exactly. I've got a bus pass with a photo, says Linda Kane. How did you get that? Did you have to prove who you were? It's like all of this is all very tenuous, isn't it?
Well, I listened to the same radio show as you did, and they were saying about that if you need to show ID when you go and vote, it's going to alienate a lot of the community.
Oh, yes, unless they're all conservatives. Something they said, didn't they?
But surely they would just bring in... So you could take your passport, your driving license, or you take your voting card, which is given free to everybody with your little picture on.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was already secure, isn't it? I mean, have we been voting all these years and it's not been secure? You get sent a card which identifies who you are, and at the other end, they ask you who you are anyway. They say, what's your name? And you confirm it to them. And then you...
Yeah, I have the card for the landlord comes to my house, and he doesn't go and vote because he lives in a different part of the world.
Right.
So, in theory, I could go and vote for me in the morning, wait for them to change staff and go back in the afternoon and then vote again.
Okay, but I mean, you know, the people at the airport, when you go through passport control, presumably, one is making a huge assumption here, these are trained people who can look at somebody very quickly and look at their passport picture and the person in front of them and think, yep, that is the same person. There is something happening. The people hang on a minute, Sean. The people who are going to be sitting there behind the desk are all volunteers, aren't they? They've been there for far too long and they're nattering about what buns they're going to cook. And somebody comes in and says, hello, I'm Mr. So-and-so, and they look at it and they look down and they look up. Well, that could be so easy. What are you going to go? That's not you? No, of course it's me. It's a little bit older, but it's me. What are they going to do? Are they going to challenge? They're just going to go, oh, yeah, that's you. There's the number. No one's going to be... I mean, unless suddenly you go in and you're a black man and on the picture is a Japanese person. I mean, they might go, oh, wait a minute, that's... is that... Oh, well, that was when I went through my Japanese phase. Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, you know, I'm racial fluid. Oh, are you racial fluid? Oh, yes. I mean, you can be gender fluid. Why can't you be racial fluid? I mean, you know, next week I'm a chair. Right. I don't think it's going to make any slight idea. Someone's going to take this photo card. They're not going to challenge you, are they? Unless it's so extreme. You come in with a big, you know, comedy. I bet if you turned up with a clown face and a big red nose and big floppy shoes and said, well, I'm on my way to a gig. And they go, yeah, but you're part... I mean, that's me. Right, okay. I'm Mr. Mbula. Oh, right, Mr. Mbula. Yeah. You've got a big white face.
I understand, when you go to the airport now, you can check yourself in. So nobody even checks the passport.
Nobody even checks it. You can fly it yourself. Would you like to be the pilot today? Who would like to be the pilot? Would you like to be the pilot? Let's lie. Anyone want to be the chief stewardess? Oh, marvellous. Oh, no, sorry. You're too big. We want someone slim with blonde hair. You could do it. Yes, now come on, serve some coffee. There we are. It's You Do It Yourself Airways.
I was on a plane going from Detroit to Toronto. And we were just about to start, and it came over the tannoy, and it said, we've just discovered the pilot's not qualified to fly this type of plane, so we are sent in for another pilot, and it's fine, because he only lives 3 hours away. So we all had to sit there for 3 hours for this bloody guy to turn up.
You weren't in the... I thought for a moment you meant that you were in the air. And it comes over, we're going to send for another one, and he will do a bit of wing walking and climb in through... the passenger window.
Then, on another occasion, I had flown to the Arctic Circle from Cardiff, and to go and see Santa for the day, type of a thing.
Feed him.
And you would think they would preempt issues, but we were due to fly out of the Arctic Circle to come back to Cardiff at 8 o'clock in the night. It said flight's delayed. There's a bit of ice onto the wing. Well, surely you worked that out before you started flying.
Yeah, that's like landing in the Sahara Desert and saying, sorry, the runway is a bit sandy at the moment. But don't worry, we'll get it fixed. Someone's coming in with a vax. Just vacuum up the sand, would you? Then we can take off in a minute. Yes, I don't think I've got a big enough vacuum bag.
Oh, you remember Shake and Vac, the advert?
Yes, put the freshness back.
I used to remember, and I can't find it on the internet, there used to be an advert on about 11:30 in the night on ITV, which was telling you, to remind you to switch all the lights off before you went to bed.
Yeah, they used to tell you to turn the television off, didn't they?
And it's like, well, surely I wouldn't go to sleep with all the lights on, would I?
Well, you never know. I mean, it's a bit rubbish for somebody on shift work. They're going to bed at 3 p.m. You've got to turn all... Wait a minute, none of the lights are on. I've closed the curtains. I've done my best, mate. Goodness sake. Anyway, lovely to talk to you, Sean. Take care.
Bye.
There we are. That's Sean James Cameron, who's in a bit of a strange loop. He can't get himself identified because none of his stuff is in date. You're talking lots of stuff. Paul Cockrell says, if you haven't got a photo ID, just show them your Facebook page. Exactly. What if you haven't? I understood a while ago I read this thing or heard this thing that people in HR departments who were employing people were suspicious of people who didn't have a Facebook account. If you didn't have a Facebook account, they couldn't check on you. And it was like, oh, we don't know if you're kosher because you haven't actually got a Facebook account, which in my mind is a good enough reason not to have Facebook. Rich M is saying something to Red Moon, and Brainwash Kiss says, of course it's secure. This is not the reason. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Do you want to be a Mike? No, not your gang, mate. No bloody fear. I don't want to go down. We have another phone call. Hello, caller. Welcome to the Vobie One Eye Kenobi Showbie.
Hello there, it's the champ.
It's the champs.
Hello! Quick, get the party poppers out.
Yeah. Bing. How is the champs?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you very much.
That's good.
What have you been up to?
Just busy with work, really.
Back on the old Zoom calls?
Yeah, Zoom calls. I had one this evening, actually, just before the Vobes Show came on.
Oh,
so.
How inconvenient.
I know. So, yeah, just people just lounging around on their sofas and stuff and, joining the meeting.
Excellent. Now, you're an international globetrotter, aren't you?
Well, from my home, yeah.
Yeah, from your home. So from your home, when you get into your car, do you have to show any ID? I mean, I imagine these new driverless cars, you've probably got to have something that says it's you. Otherwise, anybody could get in your car.
Yeah, I guess it would be fingerprints.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say was something that's similar that has come up for me last year when I was getting a new job. My last school that I was in for 12 years.
Like a prison sentence, isn't it?
It was, yeah, exactly. And do you know what the problem I had was? You know these GDPR rules.
What? Sorry, what does that mean?
The rules of data of who collects what data and what they do with it.
Data protection people.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Well, anyway, I had this issue where obviously I had to give references for my new position, but you have to give like a minimum of 2 references.
Right.
Now, the problem I had was, now 12 years is not a long time to be in a job. It is nowadays, but in the past,
it's
12 years is nothing. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what I found was the previous schools that I'd worked in had wiped any evidence of me ever being in their school.
Oh,
so it was as if I'd never worked anywhere else. So I even went to the school before that and asked if they had my details. No, I kept going back and back and back, and it became really difficult for me to prove that I'd actually worked in different schools because of this GDPR rule of people getting rid of your data.
I see. They're supposed to get rid of the data because they're not allowed to keep it after so many years. And so, I imagine loads of people must have had that issue then because.
And I'd never really thought about it until that happened.
No, well,
so
why
I'm
would
sure
you?
Other people, no, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
So and the thing is, I could offer them references from other people, but they kept saying to me, yes, but they need a work email address. I wasn't allowed to give a personal email address.
Oh, see.
So that became really difficult. So I really just went round in circles.
What if you were employed, though, by somebody, at home who worked from home and they
exactly.
and they said, well, we can't accept that email address. It's a Hotmail
it's not a
address
working.
or a
Yeah,
Yahoo
exactly. And that's what it was. Even though the people that I was offering were like educational consultants, so they were like, like
self-employed.
They were like, they're super heads. So they go in, they're just employed to go into different schools and, kind of troubleshoot, but they own their own consultancy. But for whatever reason, their email was not an appropriate email. So I could offer those. They were quite happy to write a reference, but the school wouldn't accept it.
It's most bizarre because I've not been in the work world for donkey's years now because I've been self-employed, so it's never been an issue for me. But it's fascinating because if somebody said to me, can I have a reference from where you worked? And I thought, well, wait a minute, I think it was 1987 that I worked at Marks and Spencer's. I mean, they wouldn't know who the hell I was.
No, exactly.
Well, they might have some paperwork somewhere which is being, recycled in the toilets, but maybe with my name on it. I like Vobes.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, so I wonder if anybody else has had this issue then. With
Well, I'm sure it must happen more and more because, and that's the funny thing. I always thought to myself, well, surely, I know what schools are like. They never seem to get rid of anything. But, and because everything's like put on computers as well, you always think, well, surely they've got something stored somewhere. But no. And they were like saying, give us a name of who worked here. And of course, they're not working
changed.
there anymore.
Yeah. And of course, they've got no reference.
Died in service.
Yes, they've died in service, and I don't suppose they kept the reference of who worked in their own school.
Exactly.
It was Mrs. Jones. Mrs. Jones. Did we have a Mrs. Jones? Anybody? Never heard of it. Check the records.
Exactly.
Sorry, the records only go back 2 years.
Room. Yeah, go in the staff room, and they're probably all rocking in the corner.
Yeah, the thing is,
they don't even know who they are.
You'd need to track down the pupils, wouldn't you? You'd say, well, there's a pupil there. She's now 20. Do you remember Mrs. Jones? Oh, yeah, I remember Mrs. Jones. She was a nice teacher. I used to like her. Well, do you remember what year she was? No, I did really.
Exactly. So you talking about this photo ID and everything, and yet you think, oh well, everyone you could be found out wherever you go, but actually I couldn't. The only time that I needed it, no one could flip and find me.
Well, that's the most peculiar story, I have to say. Thank you very much for sharing that. So how did you rectify it in the end, or you didn't?
Well, I didn't. I did offer and that's the funny thing.
You bribed them.
I did have references.
It's some money. Let me in.
Yeah.
I'll pay you to work for you.
No, I had references that I'd taken with me from the schools, like written on paper. Like this is a general reference to say, so and so worked at this school, and I had that. I still had those bits of paper, and I scanned them in, and they said, yeah, but we need to speak to the person that's written it. And then when they contacted the school, of course, the person was so old at the time, they're probably not even alive anymore. So, they couldn't even verify the person that had written it. So they had to take me on what I could give them, which was literally one reference. I mean, and it turns out it was an awful place to work anyway. So luckily I managed to get out of there. But I mean, that's the thing is.
So
what do you do?
Sean James Cameron says, well, Richard could have given you a reference because I've got a work email address. Well, I've got a domain name. I mean, basically, it's like it's not Yahoo or all of those. But, you know, so I could have sent you and said, well, yes, Richard at Vobes.com. Vobes.com's big empire of teaching services. And, it could, for all they know.
Well, it hasn't got an .ac UK. That's the thing.
Oh, is it got to have one of those?
Has to have that academic. Yeah, that's what they were looking for.
Oh, I see.
I know. I should have just paid out for one.
Paid out for one, yeah. You probably could have made one up and then had it rerouted to your own personal thing, and no one would have known. Alan Sandell says,
have just left it.
Well, at the end, it was a rubbish school, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know. It's probably trying to tell me something, wasn't it?
Alan Sandell says the pension people in England, because he's just come back from Texas, has dumped all his data.
Oh, where? What, on the side of the road, like fly tipping?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. It could have
been.
It's
all blowing around.
It's all going around. I mean, in the old days, didn't they used to say, oh, you be careful what you shove in the dustbin because people will read your stuff that's in the dustbin. I always had that image that, well, it would be so bleeding obvious when you open your door and there's a bloke sitting there going, I'll just read it. Just
rifling through your paperwork.
Just rifling through your paperwork.
I'd say while you're at it, I've got a load of filing.
There's some more, actually. If you find my photo card in there or an email that I can use, I'll have that too, please. Oh, no problem there at all.
But this is the thing with the addresses, because like when I go for my my trail run every day, and I have to go on some streets to get to the woods, and I always notice when it's their recycling day, there's always Amazon boxes sticking out with their addresses on. Now I don't know, is that a deal? Is someone going to get your details from looking at that, or do they need more than that? This is what I'm never sure about.
Well, I would have thought if somebody passes your house and you've left an Amazon box and your house is number 3 Acacia Avenue and the Amazon box says number 3 Acacia Avenue.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think there's going to be much.
Yeah, I don't know what else they can get apart from the name that's written on it.
No, that's true. I wouldn't have thought so. Because, I mean, they might get, yes, exactly, they'll get your name. But if they have a box that says 36 Acacia Avenue, they might be thinking, hang on, this woman's getting 36 Acacia Avenue's Amazon stuff. And poor old number at number 3, whereas number 36 is looking out the door going, I just still don't get this stuff. I keep ordering it. It never turns up.
Well, you know what? That happened to my husband, where he got a message saying that he'd had a parcel delivered, and he opened it up, and it was like a romantic comedy book or something. I mean, something that he would never even think to want to buy. He wanted a pair of flip-flops, right? So they were nothing like what he'd ordered. It had his name on and everything. So he contacted them and said, well, actually, your parcel has actually gone to number whatever on the road down the road. So he went and knocked on their door and said, yes, we've got a parcel, but it's not got your stuff in it. So he ended up going to all these different houses trying to find his parcel because somebody had put all the wrong stickers or something.
Can you imagine? I mean, can you imagine you open it up and there's a dildo or something?
Well, exactly.
And you go,
it was like some random book.
That's not. And then you've got to go and take it to the person and say, knock on their door and say, I had a pair of socks. This dildo must be yours. You can imagine.
As it starts moving.
Little kids standing there going, no, I got it. I thought it was a lollipop. Well, cover it in cherry cream. This is a family show, ladies and gentlemen. If you've been affected by anything you've heard in this, please, can you write
Please don't phone after.
Don't be the next phone call. It's a very sad state of affairs, but it is interesting what you're saying. I can't remember what it was you were saying, but it was very interesting.
Your data.
Yes, that's right.
Nobody even knows who you are. You know, talking about stupid photo ID, but yet no one even knows who you are.
Nobody knows who you are.
What's the point?
I know it does. I mean, in the old days, you know, people knew who everybody was, wasn't there? There was this. That's Cyril. Where's he? Oh, he's normally going to the bank about
They know
now.
their ins and outs. They know their ins and outs.
And if there was something a little amiss, he hasn't been out walking his dog today. I'll go and check on him. Oh dear, look, he's died on the carpet, poor bugger. I suppose I better go and.
But what about the people that have Botox and stuff? You know, their face will change.
Oh yeah.
Like, will they look like? And they'll say, yeah, but you don't look surprised. You look surprised now, but you don't in the picture. I mean,
I'm surprised. But what about those people who turn up and you know, they've 10 years is your passport length, and you have it done, and you get, there we are, there it is, and you turn up, and in that 10 years, you've decided you're going to be a bit more gender fluid and go in for the pentathlon because actually you think you could win as a woman pentathlon athlete. So you get the change all done. There's you with all your flowing locks
thick
and
neck.
Yes, you turn up and you go, that's me, and there's this bald, hairy, sort of bearded bloke, but in front there's this sort of blonde with a massive Adam's apple.
How do you do that? I mean,
like,
that's the thing.
You know, do they have to then get another passport with all the glam on? I mean, how does that work?
And what I never understood as well is where you, like, I mean, I wear contact lenses, but I don't wear them all the time, and yet they make you take a picture without your glasses on. So I can never see where the camera is, because obviously once my glasses are off, I don't know where I'm looking.
Yeah.
And B, I will have my glasses on to speak to that person.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're
like,
there in front of them. They're going, wait a minute, this is a bespectacled woman. And they don't say to you, could you just take your glasses off? Let me just see how...
Exactly.
And so I never think that anybody... I just think it's all a charade.
Yeah. It's just too much fuss.
It is. And it slows people down at airports as they're all looking at these things. And then of course, it's the same thing when you go through and they say, did you pack this yourself? Oh, yes. Is there any explosives? Yes, tons of it.
I know. Why did you pack this yourself?
And don't they say...
No, I got my personal... my personal secretary to do it.
I got my personal bomb packer to pack it, actually. So make
sure
it was undetected.
My drug dealer did it for me. I'm on the county lines.
And then they say, isn't it true that I think in America or something they say, and are you a terrorist? And you have to say no.
Well, who's going to say yes?
Exactly. Oh, yes, I am a terrorist. Yeah. And I have so much Semtex in here. What if you mishear it and think they said, do you live in a terraced house or something? Yeah. And there's like some old dear that says, yeah, or if you're deaf and you're going, I'm sorry, what did you say? Are you a terrorist? No, I'm sorry, I still can't hear. Are you a terrorist? And meanwhile, everybody else is going, a terrorist? Oh,
looking.
crikey, crick duck. I mean, it is utterly and utter bonkers,
The
isn't
old
it?
lady's going to blow.
Take her inside, quick. No, wait, it's Her Majesty the Queen, my husband. I wonder if, does the Queen now do Randall and Hopkirk like that? You know, Randall, my husband and I deceased, or my what would be my husband deceased and I. That must be what she now says.
Yeah, I know. She must have to really think hard not to say it.
I don't understand. It's all bonkers.
Yeah, I know, it's madness.
Well, we've had a good luck. It's always good fun when you ring in, Emily Champion. Thank you very much.
That's all right.
We get our money's worth.
Well, you do.
Yeah. So you managed. Just to finish the story, you managed to get resolved with a job that didn't require,
which was awful.
Which was awful. But then, you're now working for yourself.
Yes.
Yes. So you know photo ID.
If I can't write myself a reference, then I'm really going to struggle.
Yes,
aren't I?
exactly. Well, you just have to do a Zoom call to yourself and go,
just
that's
wipe
me.
my own data.
There you go. Brilliant. Great, son. Look after yourself, Emily.
Yeah. All right. Speak to you soon.
Take care. Bye for now. Bye. There we are, the effervescent Emily Champion there giving us a good giggle, which is superb. Thank you very much for all your wonderful comments that have been going on in the meantime. I hope you've all been... the flip-flops have arrived here, says Bonnie. Nikki just says hello, which is nice. It's a family show, says Dean M. Cooper. Absolutely. I've just got to make sure. Where is that Radian B? Radian B, by the way, is just up there behind. Here it is. Let me show you. Radian B. You may wonder why I keep mentioning that, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever I see Dean M. Cooper, it's because he sent it to me for my back. And it was doing my bicycle chain some great work. Sean James Cameron is laughing. Station Master's Choices says that when my late wife and I went to America a few years ago to see our family, one of the questions we were asked by the immigration was just that. Are you members of a terrorist organisation? Yes, my wife and I are members of a terrorist organisation. What are you going to do about it? That's so silly, isn't it? If you're a member of the church in this country, they consider you a terrorist, apparently. What? A member of which particular church? Or any particular church. Nigel Sadler says, gotta love the champs. Absolutely. Gave us a good giggle, as I say. And what else have we got? A Red Moon Conjure is talking to Robert Croser. Tell me about it. Quarterly bills. Colonel Croak, I'm just trying to find, but anyway, so it looks like we're all up to date, more or less. Brilliant. Let's go into the video box, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you remember, we had a couple of videos left over from last week. So, not last week, last Monday. So we are going to go straight in to find out what Mark Donny McLeod has been up to with his, I think he's making pasta.
Good afternoon. Well, good evening, Bluebell. And this is about a little cookie tip. Right. When one is cooking their pasta, one might find that they have to wait a little bit because, well, it needs to grow and absorb the water. Now, I know most people don't actually know this, but some people aren't quite sure. So, let's have a look down here at the pot, see what's going on. And here we have the pot and the pasta, bit of the old twizzle pasta there. Now this is come up now to a nice boil, see? Just water, not even half a teaspoon of salt in there, just water and a tiny bit of salt. So now it's at that point there, then it's boiling, no oil, don't put oil in there. Now, turn out the gas or the electric and get the lid on. That's better. Right, now what's going to happen in that pan is all that lovely steam and that water is going to get soaked up by that pasta. And it'll be wonderful. And then when you put your sauce on, when you get your sauce, when you put your sauce on, what you can actually do is you can put some of the sauce in with the pasta and then cook that in there. And maybe grate on some Parmigiano. Yeah? Very nice. Very nice indeed. Just thought I'd have a little bit because I've been up for a bit. So I've been ranting with Richard as well. So, welcome back. The pasta is cooked. So what we need to do is work out how to serve it up. Now, because it's in the pan and there's lots of water left in there, we need to drain off the water, don't we? Come with me. So, don't worry with a colander. Put the lid on. Just drain that pasta off. Who needs more washing than you actually need? Right. Next bit is this bit. So we have our pasta in our pan. Squiggle bit. Do you know what it's called? Write it in the comments down there. So we have our pasta. Now in this pan I've got some sauce.
And that's where we suddenly leave it. I think there's a part 2 to this to follow, but I haven't actually got it. So, Mark, you need to send it in. I love the idea that you turn the gas off. Not that I have any gas, of course. It's can't turn the wood off in mine. And shove the lid on, and then presumably it just sort of absorbs in that sort of way. Ron Langley says, I'm watching the show now, which is great. Hate the stuff, says Sean James Cameron. What, pasta? Doesn't like it. I had pasta this evening, says Andrew Norris. It's interesting you talk about putting sauces on there. I often don't put sauce on it at all. I often just have a bit of tuna with it and some cheese, which is quite nice, and some peas. And often don't worry about this. So I try to have as less of the sort of fatty stuffs and less sugar as possible, which is why my hair is looking as sheeny as is can be. But lovely. Anyway, thank you very much, Mark Donny McLeod there. Very, very lovely. Interesting to get the second part to see what your sauce is made of and what else you do with it. And of course, we want to watch you scoff the lot. So do send that in. I have not got it if you think you have already sent it. Sean Ford has also had pasta tonight, which is great. Too many carbs for Robert Croser. You need to get out and run or something and work off all those figures that you have in your head. For that. We're going to go talking with trees. Would you like to talk with some trees? I think we would, because this one also was held over from Monday's show, and it's Sean Ford talking with trees, and I believe it's the silver birch, but I may have got that wrong, can't remember now. So let's find out what Sean is up to with his tree chatter.
Friends, and welcome to another Talking with Trees with me, Sean. Today I'm going to find a silver birch tree and read small poetry from Cicely Mary Barker.
I've seen a few silver birches already. This one just made a noise.
I'll be able to hear it creaking now in the wind. And he has a neighbour as well. I might come back. This looks like a very old silver birch tree. Thick in the woods now. Also picking some dandelions to make dandelion tea. Asking kindly for it first of all. And they make lovely tea, thank you. Of course you can eat the roots, you can eat the whole thing. It's just like a vegetable. I know it's a flower, but it should be treated as so. Tiger teeth. No, lion's teeth. And then you just pour some hot water in and let that settle for a few minutes. And there we have a lovely fresh dandelion drink. Not too sweet, not too bitter, but quite delicious. No additives, and nothing taken away. There's a lovely silver birch. Let's go say hello. Here's a beautiful silver birch tree. I'd like to read you a poem by Cicely Mary Barker called The Song of the Silver Birch Fairy. There's a gentle tree with a satiny bark, all silver white, and upon it dark is many a crosswise line and mark. She's a tree there's no mistaking. The birch is this light and lovely tree, and as light and lovely still is she, when the summer's time has come to flee, as she was a spring's awaking. She has new birch catkins small and tight, though the old ones scatter and take their flight, and the leaves all yellow and bright in autumn winds are shaking. And with fluttering wings and hands that cling, the fairies play and the fairies swing on the fine thin twigs that will toss and spring with never a fear of breaking. Well, thanks for watching Talking with Trees with me, Sean. See you next time.
Most delightful. Most delightful. Wasn't that lovely? Question there. You said add water. You didn't say whether it was hot water or cold water. I'm assuming it's hot water, although it didn't. Your glass cup didn't actually steam up with the dandelions in it. And then you said, you then went on to say nothing added and nothing taken away. But actually, I noticed that you'd taken the flowers away and the stalks. So I think you lied to us. You lied! You lied! But yeah, no, very interesting. That looks fantastic. Thank you for a lovely poem, a lovely number of silver birch trees there. So thank you very much, Sean, for that. We look forward to the next one. That would be good. We certainly enjoy these, so keep them coming. What else have we got? Yes, so Emily Champion is also asking, how long did you keep them in the water for? So yeah, it's hot water, definitely hot water, just off the boil. So yeah, interesting. And I loved the cherry tree bark says, Michael White, sorry about that. I ate the stalks and the flowers. Oh, right, even better. So there we are. That'll keep you going all night long, no doubt. Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much. So there we are. That was Sean and Talking to Trees. We're just coming up to 9 o'clock here. Well, just past 9 o'clock here in the... I've just dropped my script as well. Hold on a minute. When I say script, I mean loosely tells me what we've actually got in the show coming up. So there were our first two videos. We're going to move over to Bernie next, who is in the marsh. Bernie is in the marsh. You may remember that he has already been in the marsh round on the Pevensey marshes, which is an interesting area. I've not really explored most of those. And it's funny because I remember driving along the A27 and going past those and then going in onto the Romney marshes and actually thinking, well, those Pevensey marshes look much more like marshes as I imagine than the Romney marshes. I think mainly because the Romney marshes have been sort of turned into fields and there's lots of roads and things. Whereas when you drive along the A27, if I've got the right place, the expanse of it, but I don't know if there's many public footpaths along them. Maybe, Bernie, you could tell us. But anyway, let's go and find out, see what Bernie's up to. No doubt it's bang early in the morning, as ever, back out there on the on the Pevensey marshes.
Hurstmanzoo Castle, or part of it. This was derelict, you know, Hurstmanzoo Castle, until the 1920s or so, and then it was refurbished to a very high standard. It was eventually took over by the Admiralty, and now the castle and its environs are owned by, I think it's Queen's University of Canada, Montreal, I think, and they have foreign students come over, but still run as a science park up on the hillside. It's the old Greenwich Observatory, and what I'm hoping to find as I come round is the old dome from the Isaac Newton telescope. There it is. It suddenly sprang into view, and then the sun took me light away. That is the Isaac Newton telescope, or what was left of it. So we did manage to get it for you in the end, and as I pan round to the left, you'll see I was going right the way through the middle of that lot. And it's now 7 o'clock in the morning. Looking over towards Eastbourne, and already the noise of the traffic, even on the main road a couple of miles away, it's quite noticeable. I spoke earlier about sluices. We're now down where the marsh meets the sea these days, and I'm actually standing on ground that might well be below sea level. I can't wander too far away. They have a fishing station up there where there are some fishing boats, but I'll just very quickly get up the top of these steps. That's as far as I go in case anybody wants access to that land, but you can see how this shingle bank has actually been built up to keep the land behind it from flooding. And you can see as I'm standing at the top of these steps, and I lift the camera up, how low-lying that land was. Just ahead of you up there, you can see the Barnhorn Ridge, and if I just pan round to the left behind those trees, over there, that is the area where you would have found North Eye. And now I'm going to have to go back down the steps there's a train coming shortly, and to be fair to the water board, I need to be out the way of their gates.
So he's off to the Star Inn, ladies and gentlemen, in Norman's Bay, to have a few pints of the good stuff, and I don't blame him after crunching around on that lovely crunchy stuff. And actually, he did say, this is Bernie, he said the footpaths across the marshes, but I'm not really familiar with any of them. I'll have to go and investigate and take my camera and do some photography. But thank you so much. That was fantastic. There we are. Lovely to see that. And those what barrack-like houses at the back of the castle there. Superb. Lots of debate going on about, what is it, debate going on? The crunch of pebbles, and scabby faces, and scabby knees for 46 years. Great video, good stuff, and all the rest of it. I remember Bonnie said this thing about nobody walked dogs. My mum used to walk the dog. I mean, I don't think we as kids walked the dog because we were out with the dog playing. And the dog used to come with us when I was a kid over the farm. But she would go out in the evening and take the dog out. I'm not quite sure. We had a lead, we had a licence. So maybe it was just a Hove thing. I don't know. Anyway, so that was Bernie. Thank you very much, Bernie, for that. We have now Raymond, good old Raymond. As you know, he sent some music in for Friday, I think, if I haven't downloaded that one, but I thought this would be suitable to get us in the mood for Friday's tune, because Friday night is music night, of course. But he has more on his lovely keyboard about Midi files. Now, I did once play about with Midi files many years ago, but I really couldn't get to grips with them, and I didn't have anything as plush and as exciting as that wonderful keyboard that he has. So let's find out what Raymond is up to and see if we can learn something. You might learn something on the Vobes Show tonight. You never know.
Evening all, bear with me. It's very difficult with setting the camera up for this. I'm trying to show you on the keyboard display here what we can do with sample songs. Now, built into the keyboard from scratch are 5 sample songs. And here they are: Ode to Joy, Beauty and the Beast, Amazing Grace, Beautiful Dreamer, and Achy Breaky Heart. Now, what does that sound like? Here it sounds like. Sit down now, no line dancing just yet. Now, what we can also do is bring up the music and the tempo with the red dot that we're going on here, and the words, and this is what it sounds like. Better, just the words highlighted along with the music, so from a karaoke singing point of view you can sing along with it like this. But also, because it's a Midi file and it's built with 16 tracks using various instrumentation from within the keyboard, we can actually switch them on and off. Now, if we look along the bottom here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16 different tracks possibly we're using. Let's just play the music again. Lights highlighting those things. So the actual melody of Achy Breaky Heart was in track 1. I can switch that off. Watch this. can play along with it. Good, eh? Now, there are various other ones in here, in fact lots more which I've loaded up. Let's have a look. Page after page. Let's go to one of here. Pink Floyd, Another Brick in the Wall. What does that sound like? See if I can zoom out a bit. Move the camera just a touch. Right. Now, I've switched off the melody of Another Brick in the Wall, and I'm going to play it with these keys. Here we go. Wrong, but you get the drift. I can make a mistake sometimes.
That was incredible. Wasn't that incredible? What a to be able to play along with all your favourite tunes. I wonder if you can do the theme to Laurel and Hardy. I bet you haven't got that on your machine. Da 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 dee 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 dee. That would be great. Da 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 da. Or even the Waltz of the Cuckoos, is it? Yeah. Ba-dum 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 ba-ba-da-bum ba-ba-da-bum ba-rum ba-bum ba-rum ba-bum ba-ba-ba-bum ba-bum ba-bum. Oh, fantastic, Ray. Love that. What an interesting machine it is with all those MIDI files and the sing-along bit and all of that. It's amazing. I think everybody was blown away by that piece of kit. So there we go, and lots of chatter in there. Poor old Sid Barrett. I don't know who Sid Barrett was. I know it's Sid Dale. Do you any do tunes by Sid Dale? Sid Dale and his orchestra. Oh, now you're talking a bit of Kish music there. I used to use those on the old Vobes Show all the time. Can't get away with it these days because of copyright. But on the podcast, Oh my, yes. I used it all the time, I did. Good old Sid Dale. And Percy Faith, that was another one. Good old Percy Faith and Keith Mansfield and all of those old names from those days. Screen Test, yes. Remember the old however it was. That was the sort of marching theme, wasn't it? Brilliant stuff. Right, we've done Bernie. Time is ticking, so I'm running through these fairly rapidly, as you may know. So that was... no, that wasn't Bernie. That was Raymond. Now, to counteract that, never mind one last brick in the wall, what about one last garlic plant in the wild? Not just one, but what about miles and miles of garlic plants? Smile a while, and while you smile, another smiles. And soon there's miles and miles of smiles, and life's worthwhile because you smiled. There you go, an old poem for you. But Justine Jones has sent this in. She says, sorry, it might give some people a bit of disturbance because of the old shakiness, but actually I watched it, and it's not that shaky at all. Your phone must have got some sort of stabilisation. Everybody's got stabilisation. You don't really see this real old-fashioned shaky cam anymore, unless you watch some of my stuff, of course. Then you'll get it all the time. Right, over to Justine Jones and Miles of Wild Garlic.
Hi everybody, it's Justine. I thought you might like to come with me for a walk through the wild garlic. I don't know if you're fed up with bluebells, but thought wild garlic be a nice change. Well, there you are. Hope you enjoyed that little few minutes piece, and see you all soon. Bye.
Thank you very much, Justine Jones there. That's very kind of you. Lovely. Few minutes piece from the old Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi. Who could ask for anything more? That is superb. How lovely to see all those wild garlics and lots of them. And I noticed that Station Master's Choice saying you were weeding them out. Weeding them out. Keep them in. Keep them in. The lovely aroma of the garlic. And let some of the passengers sort of pick some, and then they can stick it on with their potatoes or whatever it is that you do with wild garlic. It must have given some inspiration or something. I don't know what I'm talking about now. But anyway, there we are. Now, we're fast approaching the end of the show. We've got 8 minutes. If anybody wants to give me a last-minute call on 0793 4746 790 to end the show. 790 to end the show. Give us a tinkle, diddly-doo. Brilliant. Thank you very much, Justine. We want to see more of your videos out and about wherever you happen to be. And, of course, don't forget, you too can offer. All you need is a little phone or a video camera or whatever else can take moving pictures, and send them to me, richard@vobes.com. That's the email address. But send them via, if you can, WeTransfer.com. It's a service, an independent service. I have nothing to do with them, and but they send them over, and it means that it's stored on their server rather than in my emails and chogging up my email box, you see. And then they notify me there, and then just before the show, I can download them and see them. So sometimes the videos go amiss if you send them directly, because I will put them at one side, but then I forget. Whereas all the WeTransfers, it's very easy for me just to go, right, well, let's have a look in the WeTransfer, and I'll just sort them out by WeTransfer, and then I go, oh yes, there's one, and then I set them up, and then we're in the show, see, and then suddenly I go, oh yes, wait a minute, somebody sent me one. But I know that I think it was Raymond who said it was going to take 8 hours to send an 11 megabyte file, which is ridiculous, really. So there we go. Station Master's Troy says that WeTransfer is a very easy thing to do, which is fantastic. And Bonnie H says, haven't I sent a quiz? You may well have done. That's very likely that I have also forgotten. Actually, there might be 2 things in the... Yes, there's... oh, no, we did the picture of Barnes. Did we do the... Wait, did you send... We did that one. Wait a minute, I'm just looking. Where is your most recent... 3s. Hang on, let me do a search for Bonnie's email. Bonita Holland. 3s. Something comes in 3s. That was the last one. Vobes Show. Another quiz. Yeah, we've done that one. We've done the quiz that you sent in last. Flowers on the Roof Terrace. Got that one. So there we are. I've got one for Friday. Guess the wild flower. Marvellous. Well, that's grand. Jackie says, I sent you a video. Oh, yes. Did you send me a video? See, this is the thing. People send me videos, and I'm not very good at this. Let's have a look. Oh, yes. You. Hang on. Where are you, Jackie? You did send me a video. I just got to find it now. So this is... Oh, did I not? Oh, this is the proper one. Oh, here we go. I didn't download it. It's because it doesn't come in through... Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Why is that download all? Let's see. See what happens. I'll download it. Let's have a look. So I really do prefer it if people can send them in WeTransfer, because it's so much easier for me to find. And I appreciate that sometimes it's... For some reason, people seem to have issues with it. I think there's either a service that's very similar named, and people send it on their phone, and for some reason it goes in a weird thing. I never do anything on my phone. I much prefer to use the old PC, but people do things in different ways, so I understand that might be a problem, but that's sometimes why. So if you have sent me some stuff in, don't be frightened to say, don't be frightened to say, have you done it, just as Jackie did, because often I see it there and then I completely forget in the show, and I'm not very organised because I'm running around. And I have this system with WeTransfer, and it just, that works so well. I'm just making excuses now whilst the download is coming in. And I'm hoping that it's in 720p, because if it's not in 720p, then I can't. It looks good. Right, just bear with me as I now have to... Where is it? There it is. Open the folder. You've called it My Movies 5. I just need to check the properties. Have a look at the details. It's 1080p. 1080p. So don't panic, because that sometimes it buffers, you see, if I don't show it at 720. It's something to do with OBS and the way they put it out. So now it has to go through something called Handbrake. So hang on. If I share the screen, you'll see what I have to do. So here's Handbrake. This is a program. So I'll take your movie. I'll shove it into Handbrake. There is your movie, and now I need to make sure that it's at 720, which it is. I've got to find somewhere to put that, which will probably go into the Friday show. Where is the Friday show? Well, it's on the desktop here, in show assets, in videos, in Wednesday show rather. And who's this? This is Jackie, so I should call it Jackie, like that. I will save it, and then I will start to encode it. Then it takes a few minutes just to encode this. So whilst it's doing that, we can come back here. yeah, no, Jackie, don't worry. You're new to this, so don't panic. It's only because I'm now doing it live on the show. This is why in the description it does say if you can send it via WeTransfer. I know it's very complicated, so please don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not having a go. It's just that there's a delay now whilst it's doing the encoding and I'm chatting. So somebody could give us a ring to fill in the airtime. That would be lovely, but don't feel you have to because it won't be long. How long does it say it's got? 30 seconds. We've only got 30 seconds, and then we'll go straight in and play it. So there we go. Jackie says I'm a novice. That's perfectly fine. She says it might be wibbly wobbly. I guess it could easily be wibbly wobbly, but that doesn't matter. I can send a video, and if I can send a video, anyone can, says Jonathan Fox. I have some footage of today's perambulation along the canal, says Mark Donny McLeod, towpath to Nelson and back. Is Nelson still around? I thought he was shot. I had to cut off early as the heavens opened. Yes. Behind the scenes of the Vobes Show. It's all here. Right, it's now done, ladies and gentlemen. So now I go back into, let's have a look. Where is the sodding... I've got to find the folder I've put it in. That's always the issue, isn't it? Where is the folder? Hang on, go to desktop. Here we go. So back into behind the scenes of the Vobes Show. Where is it? There we go. So now I just got to find it. It's in there. It should be in videos, in Wednesday's show, and there it is. So now what I do is I slide this folder, this file, into the video box, and it will play. But normally I have to set a few little parameters when it plays before the show, so I can have it on my little box. On my little box. Let's have a look. Where is my little box? Down here on my side, I have this little box which fires things off, so it's all nice and seamless, you see. But so when things come in late, I can't just... Well, I can, but it's not as smooth. It's not as smooth. But it doesn't matter. We'll get there. Don't panic. We can do this. We can do this. We all hold together and pray and hope that everything works. So we go into the video box. And with a bit of jiggery pokery, we should now get to see Jackie's lovely video about bluebells.
woodpecker.
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? That was worth waiting for, wasn't it? I'm so sorry, Jackie, to have completely forgotten it. But there you go. I think the highlight of the evening. Amazing wood with just seemed to go on and on and on. I think it was competing with the wonderful woodland of the wild garlic. What with wild garlic on one side and then the amazing bluebells on the other. Wasn't that stunning? That was incredible. And the woodpecker going on in the background. First I thought, that sounds like some sort of bullfrog because it had this weird echo and reverb to it. But no, definitely a woodpecker. Amazing. Thank you so much for sending that in. And yeah, it wasn't wibbly wobbly at all. It was superb. And just so many of them. I'm absolutely surprised. You'll have to tell us where it is so we can all, I guess it's almost coming now to the end of the Bluebell season, unfortunately. But hey ho, there you go. That was fantastic. Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Coming along on a Wednesday night, halfway through your week, working week for many people. Enjoy yourselves and look after each and every one of you. And I will see you back on Friday, hopefully, for another Vobes Show, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. All the usual stuff with hopefully the lovely Julia on the headphones, being able to talk for headphone, on the headphones, talking to us live and taking your calls as well. So thank you very much to Mark Donny McLeod for his pasta. Looking forward to part 2 of that. To Sean talking with trees. To Bernie in the marshes. To Raymond with all the Midi files. We've learnt a lot tonight, haven't we? Justine Jones and the wild garlic. And the lovely Jackie there with the bluebells. Sorry I didn't find the Bonnie quiz. But we've had a lovely time, and thanks to Emily Champion and Sean James Cameron for the phone calls. It's been a fantastic and wonderful show. Thank you very much. Take care, one and all. Look after yourselves, and I will be back, as I say, on Friday. But from me, take care, and arrivederci. Goodbye. Goodbye.